You see me shut my door there. I got the kitty in here, so he might be needing to get out. But hi, how's everybody doing? Happy Sunday spiritual session with me, Michael Rolla, spiritual medium, channel, ascension guide, life coach, etc. I really like the ascension guide way it sounds, whatever that is. Um, so I think maybe I'll do something like that because that's really, why am I here, right? Well, it's the ascension, ultimately that's why we're all here is evolution, evolution guide. But yeah, so hi, welcome to today's session. It is titled Beyond Duality. I kind of wanted to update the title too, maybe a little bit more, put unconditional love in there. And usually I know who's going to be, hold on, here he goes. See, I called it. You going? You just wanted to look. But you knew something was behind it. Okay, there he goes. Sorry. Okay, hi guys. So Beyond Duality, I wanted to update it to, say unconditional love too. And usually when I get, these set these up, I usually have beings, a being or two or something that'll come and want to talk about the specific message. But in this case, I wasn't sure, so I had to ask Source. And as soon as I asked Source, I for a second I was like, well, we can just do you. And then Archangel Michael stepped in. So I had Archangel Michael, and then I think even yesterday before that, Mother Gaia, Mama Gaia, and JC kind of came up, and I think it's really appropriate because going beyond duality. So I wanted to start talking about it in the sense of like the Taoist, philosophy or whatever you want to call it, or theory, or it's not really just a theory, which I studied for a long time, and basically it's like they explain it where, at least where I learned it from, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things, is everybody knows what yin and yang is, right? So, and everybody talks about yin and yang and the duality, the polarities and all that stuff, right? But what a lot of people don't talk about is yuan qi. So there's yin, yang, and yuan, Y-U-A-N. And this qi is the neutral force. It's the mother, right? It's the force that gives birth to the polarities. So, this is the unification and the oneness that we're all starting to come into, and the harmony. And we need to remember that that's our source, is the source of all creation and the oneness, right? Where everything is, starts from. And then duality and polarity are just playing, in different realms. There's a lot of things in the world now that, everyone is just pointing fingers, and I mean, it has been for some time, but we need to start getting past the duality and really come into oneness. What happens is it makes it for a really fun world to live in, because you realize you can extend yourself in one direction or the other direction, and then you can always come back to your balance, right? But, hey Jeannie, how you doing? I wanted to show this mug right here. I love it. It's my Jack. You're getting the glare on it. See, so look, he's holding his heart, right? And then look, you got all these scary, right, guys under here. But how do you know that they're mean if they're doing this, So it's like you see it, and then automatically we think, oh no, spooky, spooky. So we have to be careful of the programming that we're getting, Sure, it's spooky and maybe, ooh, but, it's like kids. The kids, they love this show. They freaking love it. They were over yesterday, and he's got a Oogie Boogie toy, and it's just like, and he loves it, right? So you give love. So even if something looks a certain way, you still have to bring that love to it. And the point of that, they'll come in later. Is if you look at the world and you look at, everybody's fighting, everybody's, you're either a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're a socialist, you're this, you're that, you're this and that. And the truth is we're so much more than all of that stuff, right? So we have to be able to look past that when dealing with each other. Now, it makes it difficult when we have to engage in a polarity because that's what the majority of people believe in. So it makes it a little difficult. But one of the important things to remember for, a lot of us on the spiritual path and who've come here to ground a lot of light is we have to be the ones to love everybody, and that's doesn't necessarily mean you allow everybody, right? But it's like your children. That's why I wanted to say unconditional love with this too, is because, they make mistakes, but you don't hate them, it might be frustrating or something, but, that goes away, they're just kids. But, everything that's going on now with, politicians and these guys and that guys, I had that insight earlier where it was just like, we have to love them too. We have to, they don't understand what they're doing. They're just doing it because they're told to do it because it's the way the world works and there's powerful beings and blah, blah, blah. And, they need to do what they're told and, and they have all these plans that no one else has, as if Source doesn't know what it's doing, what they're doing. But that's not to say that, it's, like I say, you allow it or it's fun, but there's, I think I don't know where that came from, where I heard it was a long time ago, and they said, a lot of people, they're going to be so distraught with the truth, and they're going to be so misunderstanding of so upset and not even getting it right, and what has really been happening, that it's going to be crucial, that we can hold that space of love and light for them, and that gets tough, like I say, when we got to deal with that every day. So there's a lot of stuff, going out in the news, right, in the media and social media, but at the end of the day, the answer is love. So where do we go? Well, we got to go to love, because if we go anywhere else, right, it's not going to be where we want to go. It's not going to be. So going beyond duality, okay, so Mama Guy is saying she loves all her children. She loves every single one of us, regardless. Just like children, like this one was just saying about children. What else? Love those beautiful souls that play those dark roles for us. Yeah, Jeannie, it's and that's the case too. It's like, how would we learn? I've been seeing a lot of that. People say, oh, we have to get that pain, that shock, so that we like wake up, and then a lot of times that kind of is the case. It's unfortunate. It doesn't have to be the case, but if people aren't paying attention and their higher self really wants to wake them up. I mean, you think about what we're here doing as humans every day. What's our higher self trying to do? It's like trying to get our attention every day, it's like, look at this, look at that. So instead of looking at it like, oh, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like this. Well, why? It's trying to tell you, it's trying to bring you, out of it, out of the the fear or the misunderstanding or the whatevers. And so, we have to go beyond that duality. Yes, there's polarity. It's important to recognize polarity, right? But that's, that's the spice of life. And I think I've said that before, so yeah, Mama Gaia is just really saying, like, she doesn't like seeing when we get hurt, but the ones that are dark are the most hurt of all. And as powerful of love and light beings that you can be, and as much as you can see that separation, and it hurts to see that, it's the same thing that she goes through. Anytime we've had that moment where, we feel for humanity, and I do it all the freaking time. I can cry for humanity at the drop of a hat. Just give me something to think about, but that's how she feels too, and it's that compassion when that brings us together. It's like these fires or whatever that's happening, or all the around the world. All of these things are happening so that we come together and we protect each other and we take care of each other. The duality isn't going to solve the issue, because the answer is love, right? because we can talk forever and a day about how separate things are. We can speculate, we can separate again, we can go this way, we can go that way. One thing this one has said about logic, is it's like, it's great, but a lot of times logic it's a structure, and so it's structured so that, yeah, it makes sense, and it's not to say don't have logic, because logic is good, but we're coming into love and unity and intuition, where it's like, oh, you did that, it doesn't make sense. Well, who cares? Like, I love you. You know what I mean? Defeats everything. Right then and there, I got chills. And that's really what's going to be needed, because there's going to be people who are good people who are going to get really upset. There's going to be a lot of people in areas of power, whatever, who have just been doing what they've been taught and grew up to do, who are going to feel terrible. I think that started happening already. And then there's that other side of it, where some of them are really here to shock us and give us that awakening that we need, and that's what's happening. So it's really like, we're really just coming together, and we got to keep seeing that. We got to keep putting our focus on that. The unconditional love, it heals everything. It doesn't mean, okay, JC's stepping in right now. Hey, Jimmy, what's going on? JC's saying, say it. I think Archangel Michael wants to say it too, but JC's giving me the image of him on the cross and being crucified right now, and he's saying, he loved them. He loved them no matter what, because he knew not what they were doing, right? Or they knew not whatever they're saying, right? They didn't know what they were doing, what they were getting themselves into. And he didn't hate them. He didn't, he lived his life as peacefully and as lovingly as one possibly could. And the reason he was able to affect so many people in his lifetime was because of his vibration, of the love that he gave. Why is it that the story of Jesus isn't one of like, oh, he came here and manipulated people and tried to convince them to believe in him, and that's why we killed his ass, that's not what his story was. That's not what, he was bringing everyone together no matter what, and that's what the second coming of him is. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's the love. He's here. He's always been here. That brings me to something else I was thinking about earlier. When we were talking in spirit, people are worried about, what is it? I want to say the vaccines, getting like microchipped and stuff like that, and the reality of that is, being in that fear, it just makes it worse. The truth is they already, they know who we are. People worry about like, oh, we're going to get tracked. We're going to be surveillanced. Listen, spirit, they already know who everybody is. They know who you are. They know who I am, right? The whole idea of the surveillance is just putting fear into the minds of everyone, right? It's like, oh no, they're going to survey me. Listen, they're already surveying you. Like, do you have internet? Like this account right here, they know I'm on. Like, nobody's hiding from anyone. And that's the world that we have to come into when you realize, and that happens, I think, on the spiritual path where you start meditating, you're like, oh my gosh, you guys have been watching me this whole time. It's like, I was totally being an idiot earlier, I can't believe you saw that, but that's, we're coming into the oneness. We're coming into, I see you for who you are, and I love you no matter what. Do whatever you want, you know what I mean? Just don't hurt anybody else. Don't intrude on other people, right? But that idea that they're instilling more fear. We have to remember it's about love versus fear. It's, no matter what it is. So going beyond what's happening, what the duality, the this, the that, the this guy said this guy said that, this guy is a socialist, this guy's not a socialist, this guy, nobody cares. Okay, like, are we gonna love each other? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you label someone as. And that's the Tao Te Ching. It said, you know, the name that can be named is not the eternal name, right? And this is, you know, part of the book. It's the Book of Changes, written by Lao Tzu, or credited to Lao Tzu. You know, and we have to start looking beyond, because if we don't see the soul of a person, you know, if you don't understand, you know, an action can be hurtful, but what if it was for your greater good? Parents, children, right? You might not like it at the time, right? But go inside, center yourself, ask your angels, ask your guides, ask your higher self. And then maybe they'll reveal to you, like, no, this has to happen for a really important reason that you might not see it right now, you know, but it's gonna be for good. You know, and that doesn't negate the fact that there was a lot of darkness here, you know, and that it's been carried over for a long time, and that's why we're here to clean it all up. But if we allow ourselves to get caught up in the duality, if we in the game, if we allow ourselves to, again, you know, because there's that line between, you want to fight for what's right, you know, but then you don't want to be fighting, because then your body is contributing an energetic vibration of fighting and war and fear and all that stuff. And we have a lot of that ancestry, so it's easy for us to, you know, jump and fight and this and this and this, you know. But there's a difference when you stand in your light and you be in your light, and you don't allow things that aren't right, but you love it. You know, instead of having to fight everything, you just say no, and then you let it go, or you let it move to whoever. Unfortunately, if there's someone who's, you know, attracting that to them, but it's really about becoming self-sovereign. You know, that God sovereign free, right? And we have to go past the duality, because if we're ever going to evolve, you know, I think I said that before in the video, you know, it's, if you want to be the super galactic powerful being person, right? Who doesn't? I mean, or even just superhero, right? Whatever level you're at, you know, we all want to be like a superhero or something, sure. You know, who doesn't want to be invincible? Who doesn't want to have to never have fatigue? Whoever, you know, well, if we're going to get there, we have to believe in it, you know, and that it always comes down to that. No matter what you're going through, no matter how, you know, troublesome it could be, if you don't believe that you're okay and that you're moving forward, then you're not gonna, you know what I mean? Because it's your life. You know, it's, so in a way, it's like, it's beyond duality, because it's beyond even, you know, this being or that being or these angels or archangels or this, and it's you, you know, and it comes back to you, and it's your connection with them all as you are. You know, it's like looking at this right now, this screen, or look at the pillow right over there. As soon as I see that pillow is me, because I'm, you know, it's not necessarily like chemically or biologically like the same as my body, right? But it's in here. It's in my mind. I know what the pillow is. I know what it does. I know how it works. I know how it smells usually. I know how, you know, perhaps how it was made. I can see the color in it. I can see it's telling me an entire story. There's a whole world there. You know, it's like even like macro and micro, you know. We think of the world or the universe, or some do science, you know, maybe older science, whatever, that like the universe is expanding or it's contracting, and where's it going to go? We're going to run out of space. And it's just like, no, that's not really what it is, because it's an internal world. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't really have limitations. And when you understand, it's really just that bigger picture. It's like you take yourself out, and it doesn't really matter if someone's yelling or if someone's crying or if someone's, you know, you give them love, you know, compassion. You give them compassion to whoever it is. But we have to start doing that for ourselves. I think, okay, here comes Archangel Michael. You know, it's important. It's extremely important, because you are the ones who chose to be here for a specific reason. All of you. 7 billion, 8 billion, doesn't matter. Every single one of you. It's not a big number when you compare it to infinity. It just isn't. And we're all here to live in existence here and to bring as much love and joy and have fun here. Not a single soul comes to Earth that doesn't have a plan of like having a good time. right? I mean, it could mean a number of things, but the premise is we're souls and we want to experience and we want to create, and that's who we are. We are creator beings. We've created this. Everything you're looking at in your life has been what you've created, what you've brought into your life on whatever level, so it's about becoming conscious of that, anything nowadays. Yoga's got the mindfulness thing going, and or I don't know if it's just yoga, but it's all coming. I mean, and if you think of 20 years ago, 30 years ago, yoga was like this thing, like, oh my God, you're doing yoga? Like, what the heck? And then, because I can remember wanting to do, Tai Chi and Qigong movements, like outside. And, I was living in, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago at the time. And it was just like, I was always kind of a little embarrassed, like people are watching me, and stuff. But now it's like totally normal. Now you see that everywhere, So it's important to understand that you are helping, you are making progress. And even though you might not see it, as this one just said, getting caught up in the duality of everything, and worrying, don't give fear any more energy than it already has. It has a residual effect that has been being cleaned up. Because you are creator beings, it's up to you to decide to stop creating that. A lot of times, some people may think, why isn't it happening faster? What's, I've been doing all this work, but it's still here, and the reason it's still here is because that's how powerful you all are as creators. It isn't that your governments and all these people are just controlling everything. They're really not. This is the same idea that darkness does not have power over you. It creates the illusion that it has power over you, and your belief in that illusion allows it to flourish, right? So why is the government powerful? Because everyone keeps thinking they are, I never did, but I need more of me, or something like that. And it's not like it's not a good thing to have, right, when it's working right, but a central or more like a group that is looking out for the sort of an overall. I mean, that's a good thing, right? I mean, that's what the source is doing for all of us, right? But this is, that Earth is the center hub of, I think Living Library, I heard once, he's giving me that, so everyone is invested in this place because you can create so much here and there's so much variety, and we're forgetting that aspect of it where it's an amazing place. But the more frustrated we get with it, the worse we're going to make it, and that comes into the fact that we are in a physical body, so we get to create in a physical realm, so we should be valuing every single thing that we get to interact with, and realize there's so much in the world. Sometimes people get bored. It's like, how can you be bored? Like, you can go online and learn anything right now. Anything in the world you could learn right now. You could read books online. You could, you know what I mean? It's like, we got the internet. We got, there's so much to do. Go learn how to, exercise. Learn how to go, sew. Learn how to, there's so many, you can look in your city and see what's going on. People are doing stuff, and that's the fun that we're supposed to be having. And not looking at everything that just doesn't work out in this moment as, the end of everything. Life just keeps on moving forward. It keeps on giving. It does. It keeps on giving, It's always giving you more. Like, whether you say you can or whether you say you can't, you're right. And you're going to move forward right into that reality. So, wanting to hide yourself away, you really can't, like they say, we're always watching, right? They can see all of it. But again, they don't judge. It doesn't matter. It's your life. You're the creator of it. So you get to decide. So if you want a world of love and light, then you got to live there. I think it was William who said he read somewhere an article or something about an older man who, and I think I said this in the video before I referenced it, where he was walking around like in the middle of like World War II, and he's like a 97-year-old guy with a cane, and every day he'd just be like, "Oh, it's so beautiful, it's so beautiful," and everybody's like, "Aren't you worried you're gonna get shot? Aren't you worried?" And it's like, well, yeah, if you want to take your mind into the place of all the fear, then you're going to perpetuate it. It's going to go into your body. It's going to go into your system, and you're not going to create the world that you want. Whereas in this guy, was 97 years old, and he's still walking on a cane. He's like, it's great. I mean, that's a master right there. That's a true master. Because at the end of the day, we all go through what we go through, and what we're going to do. Like we can either. It's up to you. You're the balance. I've said this before. Everything circles around you. Your life is waiting for you to tell it that it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, and what does that mean? That's your soul telling your human that it's okay to be human. It's okay to, have felt that way. It's okay to have done what you did in ignorance or in a state of, of fear. It's okay. But did you learn from that? Are you going to take yourself forward, or are you going to just let the fear be your reality, right? You were not born into fear. None of us were born from fear. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have been born. I mean, like, isn't that anti-life, So there's a lot of stuff like that, that we have to start, beyond duality. It's not about like, oh, was Jesus good or Jesus bad? It doesn't matter. His story is one that we should be paying attention to. You know what I mean? I think I said that in my last video. People who say, oh, I'm an incarnation of, like Archangel Michael, right? I could say something like that. And is that true? I mean, sure. Why not, right? We all have aspects of Archangel Michael within us. Why? Because he's an individual ray, right? Individual ray, of the whole, right? So he's, you're in that center, and then you're yin and yang, and you can go this way or that way. Archangel Michael can go this way or that way, right? He can be good or he can be bad. Just because we say, oh, it's an archangel, and we assume that they're good all the time, which they are, but, because that's who they are, that's what they do. But, it's like they have that option, which they don't like to, because they don't like to feel that way. They're just like we're saying, I was saying, the fear. Are you gonna let life dictate your world, or are you gonna dictate your life and the world around you? Now, there are limitations when you're in a physical body. Like I can't fly, I can't grow wings, I can't just out of here, and it's not to say that I can't spiritually grow wings. It's not to say that if we gene splice me with birds that maybe one day, but again, it's like, why do we need to do stuff like that? We already have birds, we already have them, you know what I mean? There's already beings out there that are bigger, human lifelike or human-like, and can fly, you know what I mean? Because everything's possible. So realize that it's not about, it's that idea, even in like psychology, it's looking at everything that you don't have versus, glass half full, glass half empty, or looking at all the things that you do have. We're here and we have these amazing bodies that heal themselves, that tell us, that communicate with us and tell us what we need and where to go and how to do it, and that's what we're here to experience. We're not here, if we're gonna come here to experience the bird flying people, well, then we would go to the bird flying people planet, and we'd incarnate into there. So we got to stop trying to change everything almost, right? And allow it to be, and allow it to change, right? And be the love and understand, and that comes from fear, right? A lot of that, the desire to change is just people who are scared or worried that it's not going to change. But it's always changing. If you knew that your life was going to move forward in a positive direction, you'd live every single day with happiness and joy, and you'd contribute into it, right? Why don't we think that way? And what happens is we grow up into the structures. So we tend to not think that way because we've been sort of controlled and bossed around, whether it was, parents or school or, authority or whatever, as you're growing up. And so we learn as kids, like, oh, we have to listen to what they say. And then we wake up and we realize, like, no, this is my life. It's not anybody else's. Whatever that means, not about being, oh, it's my life, ego. No, but it is mine, and I need to take care of it. And I need to take care of what I put into here and who I choose to listen to. So there's a huge, like, gap that people are going to be having to jump through, and without the context, well, without the tools to make it, that's what we're all here for. The way showers, or the whatever you want to call us all, the lighthouses, I like to think of them as, shining light into the darkness. It's, so beyond duality. It's really just, it's a beautiful message. It's really powerful when they were coming through. It's like the most powerful single sentence, like, I am love. Say that to yourself more often. I am love. My world is love. Because it wouldn't be here if it was all death and destruction. Look at what death and destruction does. Death and destruction. Look what darkness does, right? It makes everything go bye-bye. So if fear was the ruler of this place, which it can seem like it is, but it isn't. It never has been. Again, it's the illusion that you think that they're in control, and they're not. You're in control, but you have to take it back. Gotta bring sexy back, right, Justin? And it's true. And I did a video on that too. My buddy with his shirt off, 2 drinks in his hand, sweating. He's a sexy beast right there, man. Don't even get in his way. I mean, he's just on fire. Don't get too close. He's wet. But it's funny. And that is because he decided it. And that's the power we want back. Thank you, Michael. That's the whole point of us being the powerful beings. Do you want someone else to give you what I guess they think you need, or do you want to give it to yourself? Do you know exactly what it is and what it feels like and where to go and how to do it? So there's responsibility, that comes into this. There really is, remembering who we are. But again, it's not to feel bad or, pressure yourself, because again, we've been programmed. There's a structure, and we grew up, most of us grew up right into that structure. So, you have to go easy on yourself, but you have to be aware. You have to be, that mindfulness. You wake up, this is my life, and you want it to be good. So you do everything that you can. Okay, wait. Okay, what does Michael want to say? Hold on, I'm going to take a sip. Okay, this is a good one. So he's given me an idea that I've thought about before too. Is and I might have mentioned it in a video. I don't know yet, but it's that idea like God. So, excuse me. When you're starting out, there's another one. There's that, when you're like, you're human or you're figuring out gods or religions, at least for me, but I remember it was that point where it was like, okay, so if God created everything, well then who created that God, right? And then who created that God, and then who created that God, and then who created that God? Okay, so if we believe in that, it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. Okay, so at some point, you get to the end, or the beginning, right? And so if you're God and you know everything, you know who you are, you know what you've done, you know where you're going to go because you already know it because you planned on going there. You just created that. Yeah, I just created it. Okay, I'm going to go create another one, because you already know it all. So how do you play with your aspects? You have to separate yourself, and you have to put darkness. And again, darkness has this, like, this tone to it or whatever, but it's just the lack of light. What is the darkness? You can't see, so it's the lack of information, right? Because energy, light is information. So if you think of it in that way, it's like there's conditional, right? But it's like unconditional love. So there's unconditional loving, but God wanted to experience and create. So, how do you, so that desire was sort of a condition, right? Like I want to create, I want to experience myself. We all, so I made all this stuff, and now I get to play with it. And that's exactly the whole point, right? Is like, but you're the creator. You have to, no matter how high up you go, it's always a macro and a micro, so sure, there's other layers you can go up, but that mentality that there's this end place, or there's this, like I'm gonna, like enlightenment, they say, enlightenment doesn't, it's not just a place like, oh, hey, I'm enlightened. Okay, cool. Got it all figured out. Now what? Like, no, you're going to keep going, keep enlightening yourself. All that means is enlight, right? That means learning, knowing truth, growing, right? Enlightening yourself. So it keeps going. There was more there. Hold on. All right, Michael's saying the love that you are is created and was created upon your conception, not in a womb, but in the cosmic womb, right? In God's womb. So who you are and why you're here is perfect. It's everything you wanted. He's giving me a couple things. He said, and if you want to travel to other places, learn to meditate. Learn to remember that you are a soul first. And you can be in different places at once, and you can experience different things. All of these things are coming out now. And, more so, as this one was saying, how weird it was to do yoga or to do Tai Chi. It's going to be one day, and it's not now, it's one day not going to be weird to astral project yourself. It's going to be commonplace to do all of these spiritual psychic things, because this is who you are. This is what you're all capable of. If you were all just, he's giving me that sense too, where it's like, if we were just like single-celled organisms, how would we know where to go, or what to go into, or how to grow? So even in the sense of like, so you're going around, you're eating food, right? You're trying to build up your cells, and you're, even that. Okay, where's all that other stuff coming from, right? Where's all that? So there's always, I don't want to say like, there's that light, there's that source, there's that yuan chi, that 0 point of ending and beginning that starts everything. And we all have that connection within us, and we need to, the more we realize that, the more we can create in our own realities, the more we can have. But don't expect to fly in a physical vessel when you don't have wings. And don't get mad at the world for not letting you have wings. And he's giving me like reference to like, parents in authority growing up. We can't get mad at people who might not understand as much, right? But it's tough, because as kids, if you don't tell them that, they're not really gonna know that. And then maybe a few will, like me, and everything's just gonna be confusing for like such a long time, I mean, since I was a kid, I remember, I think I mentioned that, I was like 5 years old, 4 or 5, came out of church choir and asked mom, what's the difference with all the religions? And she said, well, some people believe this, some people believe that. And I went, oh, okay. So, and that, that was my start. Like, I realized, like, I'm more of a creator, or, like this is kind of up to me, right? That's what that told me. And then from that point, I just started questioning everybody. At 5 years old. I mean, it's like, why am I in school? This place is, or why can't we go to recess longer? Like, I don't know what you think I need, but I need some recess right now. And why? That's me. That's my life, right? But we knock that out of people. We tell the kids no. I did that video last week. The new age of coming in, or it was last week. I don't know, whenever it came up. But the new wave. We have to allow the children to express themselves. Otherwise, we're not going to go into a new world. We're going to go into the old world again. Moving forward, single cell amoeba, eating food. That's what we're doing. Taking in more light, right? And then digesting it and using it in our systems. This is what is happening now with your world. It's getting hit with light and energy. Everything is energy. And when you realize your energy, you're not just your thoughts, you're not just your emotions, you're not just your, they're just things to play with. It's all just stuff. It's all a meat sack, right? It's all just, which is enlivened by my soul, by my consciousness that's here, by all of the consciousness beings, by you guys. You guys are watching me. You're giving me life. You know what I'm saying? And you guys are here. I'm giving you guys life, hopefully. I mean, I don't want to speak for that, but you know what I mean? Like, when you see something, it's like the Schrodinger cat idea too. It's not real until you see it, and it's like, well, real or not, that's not the point. You know what I mean? It's like, it wasn't there a minute ago, right? Because I didn't see it, okay? But it doesn't mean that it wasn't there. Like, you guys, I know you guys are there, wherever you're at, but I'm not seeing you guys, right? So it's like we can't, there's too many, like, it's the separations. We gotta stop separating it. We gotta just bring it back. And it's great to have theories and conversations and stuff like that, and to talk about them, and that's the whole point. That's the fun part. Love quantum physics. I've been a huge quantum physics fan for like the longest time. And I love all that stuff. But until we don't allow it to form the picture, to form the story. What is it saying? Okay, quantum physics, great. Okay, why do we need to know all this stuff, right? Why? Because we just want to figure out where the Earth's going or something, or we want to figure out, and again, I love it. It's amazing. I'm not trying to downplay it. But what is the point of it? What does quantum physics say? If you could say like one word or one sentence, what is quantum physics? It's saying, possibility, like non-limitation. Quantum, here, there, everywhere, and it's great that science is, getting around to that stuff, but on the spiritual level, we've been doing it constantly, doing it all the time, I'm going to talk about bilocation, and spirituality. We're doing it all the time. If you think right now that your soul and your consciousness isn't somewhere else also, right, then you're missing the totality of you and all of this stuff and what we're all connected to. And sure, we're localized here. We go to sleep. How come our bodies don't die when we're sleeping there, right? If we just left them, well, because there's part of our consciousness is here, and then we come back. We wake up and we bring more of it in, and then we try to bring more love and bring more light and change the world for the better, right? And then you think of that too. Some people who maybe give up, they don't want to be here anymore, and it's like, so you don't want to be here, so then somewhere else there's something, why wouldn't you want to be here, right? So there's something else better, like that, if you don't want to be here, well then that there's better. So what is it that put it out there, you know what I mean? What are you talking about? We need to hear from you. If you look around at this place is all going to heck in a handbasket, then but then you're like, why, say something, you know what I mean? Realize that you are something, and that's the big thing is I think is the illusion. We're forgetting we're souls first, and then, and so who you are is like very important. Thank you, Michael. Very important. It's crucial to remember who you are. And a lot of this stuff, in the beginning, it seems so like fanciful and oh man, this, that, like, oh, and it starts off that way because that's how we were taught and we were explained. Like, like Archangel Michael, when I first, it's like, oh yeah, the protector, he's got his shield and his sword, he's gonna, he's the overseer of all humanity, in this existence, and he's making sure everything's good. It's like, wow, it's like, but then I'll take that and micro, let's micro that, right? Who am I? I'm some guy here and I'm in this world, and it's not like I, whatever, to whatever effect I can have, but I can help to protect this place. I can help to, and even if you just think of it as you're just taking care of Mama Gaia, micro and macro. And even if you think of, that's good. He's saying, look at, if I have this position, but there's still suffering on the planet, and then people will say, well, why don't you just fix that, Michael, or whatever. But that's the whole point, is it's like, it's gonna be good and bad no matter what, or not necessarily, I don't want to say it that way. He's giving me that correlation where it's like, yeah, that's who he is, but this stuff still happens down here. Okay, right, well, that's who we can be, and this stuff can still happen, but we do our best to make it better, to protect it, to be the vanguards, to put our sword and our shield on when we need to, So it's really, it's like this beautiful, amazing thing, and it really is. But it's very practical, just like I was saying earlier, with the yoga and the Tai Chi. Oh my God, what are these guys doing? He's sitting there going like this and in the grass, what is he doing? It's like, he's doing a lot, even though, what are you doing? You're doing a lot too. A lot of, that's why I'm doing this, because it deflects you, from me. It's like, that's why I love the martial arts, it gets you in your body, and and it helps the energy. It's so good. Qigong is amazing. So yeah, same here. Since I was little, just knew. Yeah, Jeannie. It's so, but we don't have the structures. We got to get those structures going. Hey, Lauren. Hey, thanks. Glad you enjoying them. Hey, Eileen. Hi, guys. Nice to see you. I'm glad you joined. I sent out some invites earlier for that Facebook, and I was like, hey, look, it's you guys. And I was like, wait, I don't want to like lose connection with you guys. Like we can all, we'll all start seeing each other online. That'd be cool. Get your own get your own YouTubes, guys. You got something to say. Trust me. We all know it. But, no, it's great. And yeah, so where was I? Beyond duality, guys, unconditional love. And if you don't believe in it, then who needs to, so that it can be here, If that guy over there, if one of you believes in it, I mean, it'll help collectively, but that's, not really going to affect my like immediate, my life, So if, like if you're believing that and I'm believing, hate, well then, it's, like I say, you can or you can't. It's going to happen no matter what. You're going to move forward because life is moving forward. Like I say, with or without you, right? So yeah, let me see what JC has to say. Oh, he's saying he had the part where he was talking about his incarnation. Oh yeah. I thought we missed you. I thought we skipped over you. Okay, he's saying the reason things are tough to understand is because we're only seeing them in the limited fashions and functions that they are. And this is the part when this one was talking about logic, when you only see so much of the equation, and then our brains naturally want to solve the equation and have it make sense. So we will do so using whatever we can to sort of solve the equation. But life isn't about solving an equation. It's about living it and experiencing it. And whatever happens, happens. We are all in such a state of survival that we're trying too hard to, you know, put everything in a box, and so we can understand it, we can manipulate it, and so I know it's over there and I'm safe from it, you know, and it's not going to touch me, you know, as long as I know, you know, but we're forgetting the childlike wonder of just not caring and just going off, you know. Oh, maybe we all know how kids are, you know. It's like you set them loose on a playground, they're gone. You ain't never gonna see them again, you know. You know, right? Well, unless, you know, it depends. There's a lot of kids, maybe they're a little nervous. It depends on who they are, but you know. But even them, even the, you know, once they're going, it's like they just go. They don't ask questions. Like it's like from 0 to, you know, I don't know, 10 or something. It's like they don't care about any of the logic. They don't care about any, you know, like, why do I have to go to bed now, Mom? Because you're going to be tired. But they don't care. You know, it's like, you know, no, I want to stay up. Why? Because I'm living in the moment. Now, that's tough because we live in the world that's so used to the structure and is built so many boxes, you know, that it can be difficult to really, you know, live that way that we want to. So it's going to be small baby steps, but you have to understand how important it is for you to take those steps and to create that life for yourself. It's the one you want. You know, when more people are living sovereign and free, you know, I've said before, when we're all growing our own crops, and, you know, and we get just a place that's just enough for what you need, you know, or whatever, and we're not, you know, polluting, and we're not doing all this stuff. I mean, you know, it's like then we're not gonna need anybody, you know. Like if you had a farm and your house was paid off, let's say, life would be pretty easy to, you know, I mean, like, you know, it's so much more overly complicated. And the only reason it's complicated is because we keep wanting all this stuff that's like way out of reach, you know, and not so much that it's out of reach, but we get upset when we can't have it. And then we create bad negativity, you know. I mean, there's a lot of things we all can't have right now. So why is it that one thing that upsets you so much is upsetting you so much, right? Is it because you feel that close to it? You know, maybe it's almost there and you gotta let it in, you know, and believe you can have it, you know. But there's tons of things that we can't have. If we looked at it all that way, we'd never get out of bed in the morning, you know. You know, oh, dang, I thought I was gonna wake up on the beach, you know. And I was like, no, you know, like you're gonna wake up wherever you went to sleep, hopefully, unless you're a heavy sleepwalker. That'd be funny. But you know, it's responsibility, you know. But it's not like, you know, like a scary thing, you know. It's a wonderful energy to embody, because that's what we all want. God, sovereign, free. What else do you want to be but free? Every single one of us, you know. Unless you're like these people who want to control and everything, you know. But but you know, we have to include everybody. We have to, you know, like, yeah, sure, you know, there's bad, there's good, but, you know, we're still a collective, you know, like, they're still a part of us, whether they're good or whether they're bad. Even if they're bad, you know, they still, yeah, so we have to allow them to be themselves too, but not allow them to rule over you. Right? Nobody should be ruling over anybody. That's number one. And we're getting there. Because people are getting upset. People are starting to speak out. So a lot of this stuff, this tragedy, this epidemics, whatever you want to call them, it's, you know, just like the fires, you know, in Australia, or, you know, we had them up here in Northern California. We had them 2 years ago now. What was it? You know, it sucks, right? But on the bigger scale, you know, maybe they wanted to go. Maybe it was their time. You know, a lot of souls, we all incarnate knowing what's coming. That's why when you fear death, you know, if you meditate and you connect with your soul, you stop worrying about it as much. You know, you stop. But it's that fear of, oh, when I get older, I'm gonna get I'm gonna be in pain, right? And I'm gonna have to be on meds, or I'm gonna have to, it's like, no, gone, get that out of there in the first place. Like what I say all the time is I'm gonna be like the monk, and I'm just gonna be meditating, sitting in my cross leg, and then I'm just gonna be like, you know what? It's time to go. It's time. Yeah, let's go. And then I'm just gonna go. Like that's it. Whether it's in my sleep, whether it's because I decided that because it's my reality. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna play that other game where like I would love. It's that. It's the fear. It's just the fear. I would love to live a full, long life, right? And I would love to live hundreds and thousands of years. I would love that. But the reality is, you already are. You already have. So it's like what you're here to do now is really what's important. It's not what you can't do, it's not what else is out there. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't pique the interest, because we have to learn those things about ourselves. We have to kind of remember those things. We have to connect those veils that are there. We have to reconnect those lines to who we were in our past and what our ancestry was like and what my past life was, and this and that and the other, but at the end of the day, does it matter that I was Cleopatra? I don't know. King James? That name came in, wow, in a previous life, doesn't matter. It's like, what was it? Yep, living that example, just being, right? Like, what do you want to be? I already am, right? You already are something. And what you are is exactly what Source intended you to be. It's exactly what you intended yourself to be when you came here. Otherwise, you'd be something else. You'd be on the planet with the flying people, flying bird peoples, right? So yeah. Let's see if there's anything else. I'm gonna take a sip. Not sweating as much. I think that's it for now. There's always more. Okay, that's a good point. There's infinite examples out there. There's infinite things to get upset about. There's infinite things to be happy about. It's up to you to pick it, really. That's all it comes down to. It's up to you to choose it and not let other people choose it for you. Like I said before, do you want someone else to choose it for you? Like, no. I don't want anybody telling me what to do, when to do it, how to do it, where to go. Nobody wants that. So why are we like waiting for something to change, in the world or the government or the nation, United Nations, whoever, it's like, why are we waiting for them? Yeah. So, okay, I think that's about it, guys, for today. I think the most important takeaway is just that neutral. Okay, thanks. The neutral place. Remember your neutrality. And because they said this before, if you're too happy, that's bad for you too. And I said that, I don't know if that was my last video, but the Taoists, they say that too much of that happy energy, that's a lot of electric energy, whereas in the magnetism is, the receptive, the feminine and stuff. So if you're too excited all the time and happy and joyful and happy, you're going to burn your adrenals out easily, easy peasy. It has to be balanced, like up and down, not just kundalini shooting up your spine, going off into the sky. No, you have to come back down. You have to, it's a whole system, because if not, you're not completing the circuit, The Ouroboros is the snake eating its tail. He's not a snake going in that way. I don't know. But yeah, it's all of it. It's the totality. And when you open your mind up to that, and you learn the tools and the skills, you can go wherever you want to go. You can feel however you want to feel. Now, you can't necessarily transform your body yet, into the flying person, but why would we ever think that that's not a possibility, And that's that decision. You know, we were born of love. Either you're gonna let the, you know, what is darkness and death and all this, that's not that's not gonna do it. No matter what it is, no matter what you're believing in, no matter what you're seeing, no matter where it is, if you believe in the death and the tragedy and that everything's just gonna go to, you know, to crap and all that, that's exactly what's gonna happen. You know, and it's not about what other people say, expert or not, doctor or not, professional or not. They're not the professional of you, are they? Of your life, of your ancestry, of your, you know, all of it, you know, of your thoughts, of your feelings, of your desires. They're not. So it's like, yeah, you gotta decide, but decide from your neutral space, you know, and then you learn, you know, yeah, I can, you know, I can tease people, I could crack a little joke, and you know, maybe, you know, like you give a little, you know, like you pull your friend's leg, you know, and so it's like, you know, so you call them ugly, you know, and that's negative. It's like, no, it's like, you know, you're like, you know, it's a joy, you know, that's going beyond the duality, you know, is it's, you know, is it's like, even though you say it, it's how did you say it? You know, is you say the word hate, right? But does that mean that like it has to have that energy about it? Now, in the sense of the word, and like, why is it called spelling? Because there's spells that we're saying, right? That's why it's called spelling. We're casting spells. So, but it's not about necessarily the word, but it is about the word form. So it's almost about how you say the word, you know, because you also don't want to say negativity and then understand it as like, you know, oh, that's just how they show their love, you know, because you don't want to create that. But you have to see that in order to understand that and to know and to not be affected and to know where they're at. You know what I mean? It's you know, but it's up to you to choose the intention. First comes intention. God intended on experiencing stuff in a new way. So he conditionally, right, created everything. But you have to be the unconditional. Otherwise you won't see everything. You won't understand everything that's happening, because you're getting in that logic set again, that's set ways of thinking, and then you're only gonna, you know, the self-fulfilling prophecy, you're just gonna put things in that make sense, you know, because you're trying to understand. Okay, well, keep going, like enlightenment, it doesn't end. There's a lot of people out there who, you know, like, I got it all figured out, this and this, you know, like I'm a Democrat to the day I die, or I'm a Republican to the day I die, and it's just like, are you how about you just put that away, okay, and then just, like, you know, think for yourself, think about stuff, you know, and see what feels right for you. And in the last video, you know, the new wave, this was going to happen, you know, these kids already know this, and they're going to change this world, and we got to help them, and we are, because the information's out there, and people who want to know it are going to find it. And just like all of us, you know, who are here, you know, just like me finding my friends, and, you know, online, all you guys and whatever, it's great. It's been the most amazing thing in the world. Like, and what was it? Just hopping on my webcam, you know, or whatever, coming to a group of friends, getting together, you know, people who are united in love, you know, that changes everything. It means everything. But again, don't let yourself be affected, because the darkness is just an illusion. You know, yeah, sure. You know, and I've said this before, kind of addressed it. You know, there's some of us who have incarnated in some really hard times. Like, there's people who are still really feeling out that whole oppression and slavery type stuff, you know, whatever, that are out there. So there's a lot of, you know, and what do those people do? And, well, again, what other option do they have? You know, it's not about the degree. I mean, the degree is the degree, but what's the solution in every degree? You know, it's love, and and it just means you gotta pull yourself further out, but it doesn't really matter like what you have, because there's people who are rich who are totally, depressed. There are people who are, poor, who are the happiest people in the world, because they have their family with them or whatever, because that's what they value. They understand what they value, so it's like, we're gonna look at all the stuff we can't do. Well, you're never gonna get out of bed, right? Like I said, so yeah, I guess that's it. Live an example. Excellent share. Oh, cool. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. Check the last one with the new kids. Whatever last video I did, that was really good too. I got some good feedback on that one, so I think that went good. It's weird. I feel like that one was the start of me doing good videos now. So like every single one I've had up until this point, until the last one with the new wave, and then this one, I feel like. So it's nice. I feel like I'm getting more comfortable with all this, and which is good because it allows the information to flow through a lot better. Whereas before I was always concerned that I'm saying it right, and and I don't, you don't want to mess up what Archangel Michael just said. Like, whoa, he blew that one. Yeah, okay, channel, we're gonna go over here. Like, whoa, he totally blew that. But how can you when you have that aspect of Archangel Michael and you are a protector? Why? Because you want to protect stuff too, don't you? You want to at least protect yourself. Raphael, you want to heal yourself? Sure, of course. You want to heal the world? Sure, of course. Gabriel, you want to have focus and drive, command, and Gabriel, you know what I mean? Like, and they all just love, you want beauty, Jophiel, go call Jophiel. You want play with your pets? Ariel. Archangel Ariel is the one for your pets. When you're playing with your pets, call on Archangel Ariel. Just Ariel from Little Mermaid, that name. There's so many, but it's like that's all within you, so you are source, right? But we got to get to that level. If you don't think you're source, then you're not, you know what I'm saying? You're taking yourself down. So how do if you want to be Superman, you got to believe you're Superman. Nobody else has to believe it, but you got to believe it. Now, the effect of that with the global consciousness, you know what I mean? Like collective consciousness, that matters because that creates on a bigger scale, micro, macro. But how do you heal? You heal it from the inside. It's like if you had a disease in your body, but then all of a sudden you start putting in light beings. You start putting in light beings in there, right? Love, right? You got a pain in your back. You've always had tight back. Give it love because it's going to heal it. Give it light. Give it relaxation, give it fresh chi, move it around, shake, grab the earth, shake it, say, you guys, get off your butts and wake up, and your body will respond because it's your body, it's your earth, it's your world. Yeah, it's a lot there. We can probably dive into a lot of it. Jimmy, yes, indeed, the children will save the world on a mental, mindset, philosophical level more than anything. They will stop the cycles that previous generations perpetuated. Yeah, exactly. Because they already know. They're woke. They're already woke. But like I said in the last one, they might not recognize that they're woke, but that's almost, they don't necessarily need to. It'll be good for those of them who want to help bring more people out so they can reference the old and they can say, oh, okay, cool. And they can start talking about what they want in whatever ways. But even if they don't know that they're woke, which it's a total like catchphrase now, so they're probably or something, but again, they don't have that dense history, but their souls remember, so they know exactly what they're here for, exactly what they're here to do, and that's why we just got to get out of the way and let them do it, and because it's like looking. So what's wrong? All the controllers, all of this, creating dark, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's going on. Okay, so then, but what are we going to do with all of our children that are coming in? We're just going to assume that every single child is just going to be like the bane to the world? Like, no, of course not. Like, we need to start letting them all be who they are from childhood, because a child wants to do nothing but play and create and have fun and feel good. They don't like to cry. They might have to every now and then, but it's like they don't want that. So we really got to start letting them be. That's why we got here in the first place, because too much control. And not to, again, it's not about blame. But like our parents or our grandparents, they just grew up, some were stricter than others, and but why did they do it? They wanted you to have a good life, and they were preparing you for the world, but then, comes that time you got to kind of get out of that and do your own thing and grow up for yourself, which, if we can do that for our children right off the bat, everything's gonna change. So whether the change is here now, you don't see it yet, children are being born, and we gotta take care of them, man. They're all our children. You know what I mean? We're all connected. We're all family. And again, that's that separation. Now, I'm not saying go take someone's kid. That's funny. We're not saying like your kid is someone else's kid or something, but and it's reminding me of like the, comedians who talk about growing up back in the day, how, it's like the whole neighborhood, knew what you were up to, and, you could get whooped by anybody in the neighborhood, and just don't tell my mom and dad, it's like there was community there, it was, we cared, right? And we still care. So, yeah, I guess. Okay, I'm just gonna stop there, guys. A little over an hour. I gotta pee really badly. Sorry, I just thought I should share that with you guys, because again, it doesn't matter. Just, go beyond it. You know what I mean? No, I'm just being weird. Okay, I guess that's it. Wait, let me see. Anybody else wants to say something? Nope, until next time. We'll be back again. So, okay. Cool, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking it out and anything. You guys have any questions, feel free to write them in there. I can channel whoever is with me, if you guys want, and things like that. But yeah, let's make it interactive. You know what I mean? Because that's how we build this. So awesome. Love you guys.